In this episode, what we're going to do is install a security scanning tool called SonarQube and run it from our IDE. The reason for installing this is so that we can continue to explore how to mitigate various kinds of security risks in our Java applications. What we want Sonar to do is essentially tell us when we've produced some sort of security vulnerability, and then after that, what we'll do is mitigate that risk using the ES API inside Java. Likely, our first items that we're going to tackle are things like cross-site scripting and injections into things like SQL statements, that sort of thing. So here, the first thing we do is go to the SonarQube website and download the zip file. And then once we have the zip file, we extract it, and here I've extracted it into my bin directory. And you can see that it has a bin directory of its own and one for various platforms. Now we go there and we get ready to execute it. However, the first thing we need to do is go and look at the documentation to see exactly what parameters it may need. So if you look here, if we expand the zip file installation instructions, it will tell us that what we need to do is call sonar.sh with console as the parameter. And actually, the first time I started it, the website that it produces didn't come up. As you can see there in the browser, that is blank. So what I did is I killed it and started it again, and this time it worked fine. The default ID and password are admin. It wants you to change the password on the first login. Now what we're going to do is create a project. So this is our ES API exploration, so we just call it ES API examples. And it creates a unique token so that you can, so that when you compile, when you do your security scan, you can upload the results using that token. So now our project happens to be a Maven project. So we click on that and it tells us how to go about executing it. Now these instructions are for the command line, but we're going to embed it right into the IDE. So we copy these commands, or this command, and then we'll go to the IDE and integrate it. And now we'll want to remember it. So give it a tag. Okay, so the scan is complete. Now we can go back to the SonarQube website and see what it says. You'll notice that there's an error message there on the top. So we'll have to address that. If we look at the error details, what we see is that the indexing Elasticsearch had a problem. Now, I did go look at the Elasticsearch error messages in the log files, and the complaint from Elasticsearch was that the hard drive was too full. So what I did was I moved the Sonar scan to another hard drive. So I went and I moved it from my bin directory to another drive that has ample space. Now, one of the things to note is that SonarQube determines the amount of space available by percentage, not by actual number of megabytes left on the drive. So although my drive is quite large and has a great deal of space left on it, because it's 97% full, the Elasticsearch refused to do indexing on it. I had to move it to a drive that percentage-wise is more empty. I created this little run.sh file or script simply to avoid having to type so much in order to get the application, to get the Sonar scan up and running each time. So then what I'll do is I'll create a link from my bin directory to this file so that it's easy to get it up and running. But right now, essentially, what we want is just simply to execute it so we can make sure that everything's okay. Okay, so here are their previous 3 runs, and they all have the failures due to disk space issues. Now we're going to run it one more time. refresh the screen, we'll see that we have a successful run. And there are no vulnerabilities at this time because the code doesn't really do very much at all. In our next episode, I think we'll do the sequel.